Welcome back everyone. We're going to be doing a quick little comparison between the iPhone 6s Plus and the iPhone 8 Plus and seeing how both of these phones hold up in 2020. Now honestly, like I said before, if you have all the money in the world to spend, getting the iPhone 8 Plus is probably the better way to go. It's going to last you longer, it's more powerful and everything like that, but I still think the iPhone 6s Plus still holds a lot of value in this day and age, and for a lot of people, they want to rather, save some money and get an older phone than maybe having the latest and greatest. Or maybe if you currently own a 6s Plus, maybe you want to see how it compares to the newest one. Maybe you want to compare it to the 8 Plus in 2020. Now the reason it's so important to compare these type of older phones every single year is because so many things change. We see the newer iPhones come out, but on top of that, these older phones go down in value quite a bit. So whether you have the 6s Plus or you own the 8 Plus or you have neither of these phones, it can still help to kind of see how both phones compare every single year, especially with the newer iOS versions coming out. Now what I can tell you right now is that the iPhone 6s Plus on Amazon is selling for about $150. The iPhone 8 Plus is selling for about $330. So there's already a difference quite a bit in terms of the price point. The iPhone 8 Plus is, several hundred more dollars than the iPhone 6s Plus. But even then, it's about twice the cost of it. But even then, I'll tell you right now, like I said before, the 8 Plus is still the better phone every which way. And I would highly recommend you to pick that phone up over the 6s Plus. But like I said before, the 6s Plus is still a very good price per dollar. If you want to pick up either of these phones, links will be down in the description from Amazon for the prices I just said. Now looking on the front of both phones, they both have the same exact 5.5-inch 1080p displays. They're both IPS panels, and I can tell you right now, both phones look really, really good. They both have Force Touch on them too. And in terms of the way they look on the front, they look almost identically the same. And that doesn't really mean they feel the same, which I'll get into in a second, but the screens on both are okay for this day and age. The thing with 2020 is that we have all these phones coming out, that the Galaxy S20, for example, that thing has an OLED display 1440p, but it also has the ability of doing 120 Hz on that display, which is super impressive. That's something that not a lot of phones have the capability of. And with phones like this, you're already kind of outdated on both, so it's really not the end of the world. It's not like you're going to get the 6s Plus or the 8 Plus because of the display, but it's an okay panel at the end of the day for sure. What I will tell you though is that with the 8 Plus, you do have that ability of having that True Tone display on that phone, which is something that's really, really cool, and I really do like that over the 6s Plus's standard display. True Tone actually brings a little bit more, I don't know how to describe it, but I used to have tweaks on my old Android phones that would kind of change the color profile of the phone to make it more warmer and darker, and with the 8 Plus, the colors do look much better than the 6s Plus if you enable True Tone display. And like I said, the 8 Plus has that capability where the 6s Plus does not have it. So at the end of the day, the 8 Plus's display is better. But on the front, you also have pretty much the same exact build too. However, on the bottom and the rest of the phone, that is where the bigger changes kind of come into play. They both have lightning ports on the bottom, but the iPhone 6s Plus does have that headphone jack, which not a lot of phones have in this day and age, but you still have that capability on the iPhone 6s Plus, which is really, really cool. On the back, you can see a little bit of a different setup as well. The iPhone 6s Plus has that standard aluminum build that we've pretty much seen on every single iPhone before, which is really cool. I really don't have too big of an issue with it. I know some people kind of see that as a super old phone, but like I said before, I think people look at that and say you have an older iPhone and not necessarily like a super outdated phone. So that's not really that big of a deal to me, but the iPhone 8 Plus does have the overall better build quality for sure. It has that dual camera setup, which is a must in 2020. If you don't at least have a dual camera setup, you're kind of already outdated. But you also have that glass back on the back of the 8 Plus, which makes this phone feel so much better, and it really adds so much more just premiumness to this phone. And that's why I really like the iPhone 8 series, because of that glass back. It really makes it feel up to date, and because most phones coming out right now have that premium build quality, the iPhone 8 Plus for sure still holds up in that age. So for sure the iPhone 8 Plus feels like the better phone, and it kind of is the better phone overall. The 6s Plus, like I said, does have that headphone jack, which some people might like, and that's really the only thing going for it. There's a little bit of difference in terms of IP certification too. So the iPhone 6s Plus does not have any IPS certification or IP certification for that. However, there was some water resistance sealing around the phone, but some people have said before that, it could be a little water resistance, but it's not certified at all, so I wouldn't really test it. Where the iPhone 8 Plus does have that certification, so you can go up to 1 meter of water for 30 minutes, which is really, really cool. So in terms of the way the phone feels and everything like that, they kind of look the same, but the iPhone 8 Plus definitely feels much better, and it's more durable, and in terms of it being water certified and IP certified and all that. So in terms of that and the outside, the iPhone 8 Plus definitely wins there. Now hitting on the software, okay, the iPhone 6s Plus started off with iOS 9, the iPhone 8 Plus started off with iOS 11, and in terms of the software updates and everything, they're both getting the same software now. I mean, they're both on iOS 13.3.1. What I will tell you though is that in terms of the overall software update lifecycle, the iPhone 8 Plus will probably, I know it's not even probably, it's going to be getting more software updates than the iPhone 6s Plus for sure. But here's the thing with the 6s Plus, we really don't know if it's going to be getting iOS 14 or not. If I had to say it, and I've been saying this for a minute, I'm pretty sure it's going to get iOS 14 based off all the leaks that we've seen and all the information that we have. Again, it's not like guaranteed, it's not verified or anything, but based off what we know, the iPhone 6s Plus is probably going to end up getting iOS 14 potentially, with the iPhone 8 Plus is going to be getting probably 2 more versions of software on top of the 6s Plus, or at least 1 more. So again, it's kind of up in the air, but based off what we know, that's kind of where we can kind of go on from there. However, a really important thing to note is that both phones are supported under that checkra jailbreak, which is a pretty big follow-up and a pretty big update coming from last year's updates and comparisons that I've done. And that's a huge thing that's happened within the last couple months and even the last half year, and it's pretty insane. So that checkra jailbreak for sure is something that's really, really cool. I have most of my phones jailbroken, which is an awesome experience. I can install so many tweaks and everything, and it's super easy to do too. I jailbroke 3 phones yesterday in 10 minutes. It takes no time at all. So I would highly recommend you guys to jailbreak these phones if you have it. You can install so many tweaks, and I have videos talking about those tweaks too. So at the end of the day, both phones are able to be jailbroken, which is a really, really cool feature on both. So in terms of software, that pretty much covers it. Now hitting on the performance aspect, the iPhone 6s Plus has the Apple A9 chip, a dual-core CPU, and there's several different models of this phone, a 16, 32, 64, and 128 gig model, and all those models have 2 gigabytes of RAM, with the iPhone 8 Plus has the Apple A11 Bionic chip, a hexa-core CPU, and there's only 2 models of the iPhone 8 Plus, the 64 and 256 gig models. Now, quick thing to keep in mind, you're getting twice the amount of storage on the 8 Plus over the 6s Plus on that top tier model, which is a really important thing to note. But on top of that, you're getting an extra gigabyte of RAM, so you're getting 3 gigs on the iPhone 8 Plus, where you're only getting 2 on the iPhone 6s Plus. Not a crazy big deal, but you're definitely going to notice it from a day-to-day basis. Now, what I can tell you about the performance aspect is that on the iPhone 6s Plus, that phone is still a pretty powerful phone. I think for the most part, it's definitely not extremely powerful, but I think for the majority of people, I think you're going to be okay with it. One thing that I've been seeing with the iPhone 6s Plus is that it is kind of stuttering here and there, especially with these updates. They're kind of freaking me out a little bit, because I hope iOS 13 isn't the last version this phone's ending on, because it's kind of being a weird mess right now. I think it's going to be fixed within the next couple updates. In terms of stability and everything, the 6s Plus is still okay in terms of performance, but the iPhone 8 Plus definitely is the better performing phone without a doubt. That phone, really whatever you throw at it, it will be able to handle for the most part. There are times where it might be a little bit slower or it might be a little weird here and there, but I think ultimately it still holds up for the time being, and I think it's still a super fast phone. I think it's still, like I said, it can handle anything you throw at it, and I think I even compared it to my Galaxy S20 or my Galaxy S20 Plus, and yeah, of course the S20 and the S20 Pluses are much faster phones, but the iPhone 8 Plus for sure is still a comparable phone, and I think it still has a lot going for it. So in terms of performance, the iPhone 8 Plus definitely is the fastest one without a doubt. Hitting on the cameras, the iPhone 6s Plus has a single 12 megapixel sensor, where the iPhone 8 Plus has 2 12 megapixel sensors, a wide-angle lens, and a telephoto lens. And at the end of the day, like I said, if you have at least a dual camera setup on your phone, you're going to be much future-proofing yourself a lot more. And I don't even think that sentence made any sense. The 6s Plus's camera is okay, but definitely doesn't have that ability of doing 4K at 60. It doesn't have portrait mode or any of the cool features that iPhone 8 Plus has. So at the end of the day, I would definitely tell you the iPhone 6s Plus has a good camera, but it's definitely not as good as the iPhone 8 Plus's camera. You know what I mean? So that pretty much covers it up there. Now, ending it off with the battery life, both phones actually have one of the smaller batteries in all the Plus model phones that came out. The iPhone 6s Plus has a 2,750 mAh battery. The iPhone 8 Plus has a 2,691 mAh battery. And what I can tell you is, I think the iPhone 8 Plus has a little bit less battery life than the iPhone 6s Plus. But the thing to keep in mind is that the iPhone 8 Plus has wireless charging, which is probably the most base battery feature that we have now in 2020. So we have that capability on the 8 Plus, where we don't have that on the 6s Plus. It might not be that big of a deal or anything like that, but that's a humongous deal for a majority of people that are out there. And even though the 6S Plus might have a little bit better battery life, I still think the iPhone 8 Plus probably wins because of that wireless charging feature. Again, that's like a base level thing that we have nowadays, but that is also still something that's very, very important for a lot of people. So at the end of the day, I think the iPhone 8 Plus probably wins there. To kind of sum up the video and to answer the question now, should you keep your 6S Plus? Should you get one over the other? Which one? Like I said before, the iPhone 8 Plus is definitely the way to go. If you have, a little bit more money to spend, I would probably recommend picking up an iPhone 10, which you can get for I think less than $400 on Amazon. The iPhone 6S Plus, like I said before, is a good phone, but I think for a majority of people, I probably would not recommend that phone, especially between these two. I think if you need a phone for the time being, the 6S Plus is still a great phone, but definitely between these two, the 8 Plus is the way to go. But like I said, if you have more money to spend, the iPhone 10 is probably the best price per dollar phone right now. So that really pretty much covers it. Like I said, if you want to pick either the iPhone 10, 8 Plus, or iPhone 6S Plus, links will be down in the description to get them from Amazon. But that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys could check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.